NFL fans, welcome back to the J All Day Sports Show. This is the last week for the next 6 months that we don't have football. Man, I am super excited. Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up. It's almost time for the Chiefs and the Ravens to kick off the 2024 NFL season. We're 9 days away? 9 days! Yes! We are ready for some football, guys. I'm really excited. In today's episode, I'm going to do predictions for every single week 1 NFL game. So, when we're doing these kind of predictions about a little over a week away, we want to start looking at the injury reports. Who's playing? Who's getting put on the PUP list? That's the physically unable to perform list. They're going to miss 4 weeks, right? So they're not playing in week 1. So we got to kind of build this list of who's hurt, who's not hurt, who's healthy, and where we can take advantage of certain teams that are a little bit banged up going into week 1. Let's get into it. All right, next Thursday, we kick things off, guys. Baltimore Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs. Who do you like in this game? Let me know in the comments below. But the Ravens look pretty healthy for the most part. We're going through the roster, the starting defense and starting offense. They look pretty healthy. But we flip it over to Kansas City. They're not as healthy, guys, especially on the offensive line. Marquise Hollywood-Brown is probably not going to play in this game, so they're going to have to rely on Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Travis Kelce. Wanya Morris and Jawan Taylor are both banged up. That means it looks like Kingsley, the second-round pick, is probably going to have to start at left tackle. Definitely not ideal when you're going against a very formidable Baltimore Ravens defense, right? They do have a new defensive coordinator, but the DC's been with the team for a year, so he's very familiar with the personnel. So I don't think there's going to be that much of a learning curve with this defense. So who do I ultimately think wins this game? I've been on the Kansas City Chiefs pretty much the entire offseason, right? But if both of these guys are out, if Wanya Morris and Jawan Taylor do not suit up for this game, I think I might have to flip to the Ravens to get a road victory, guys. But if Jawan Taylor plays and Wanya Morris suits up, I still think the Chiefs have the juice to win this game at home. It's really hard to go to Kansas City and get a dub. But if there's 2 guys banged up on the O-line, no Marquise Hollywood-Brown, we'll have to see. It looks like Chris Jones is dealing with a shoulder injury as well, but he's most likely going to play, right? So right now, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game. I'm saying 27-20 for the Chiefs. All right, let's move on to the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. No home field advantage for everyone because we're playing in Brazil. The Green Bay Packers look pretty healthy for the most part. They got some guys questionable, but no one of serious concern, right? Maybe rookie Jordan Morgan. He's questionable right now, but the whole defense, all the starters look pretty healthy, man. Packers are looking good to go as we get closer to week 1. We check out the Bird Gang, everybody. Pretty much everyone's healthy here, too. All the questionables are guys that aren't going to be playing or starting anyway. Rookies, Anaya Smith, Johnny Wilson, they're not going to get a lot of playing time. The only guy questionable for the Philadelphia Eagles is Dallas Goedert. He's dealing with an oblique injury. We do have to keep an eye on that because the Eagles have very limited depth at the tight end position. So if Goedert is hurt, that's quite the fall off. But the defense is extremely healthy. This is probably the healthiest I've ever seen a Philadelphia Eagles unit go into a season, right? The only guy who's kind of coming off an injury is rookie Cooper DeJean, but he played in that last preseason game. I expect him to be under 15, 20 snaps for week 1 if he even gets in the game at all. But the Eagles look pretty healthy, right? So who do I ultimately think wins this Friday night game? I've been going back and forth. The line is the Packers are getting 2.5, which is a crazy line in my opinion. But the Philadelphia Eagles are extremely healthy, and I do like that Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore are both there now. We have 2 pretty established offensive and defensive coordinators for Philadelphia, so I'm changing my pick. I was going with the Packers for pretty much the entire offseason, but I don't know if the Packers can slow down Saquon Barkley, man. They weren't particularly great against the run last year, so I think Saquon Barkley balls out. That's going to open up some play action, and man, they didn't really do a great job covering wide receivers last year either. So I'm going A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Saquon Barkley, led by Jalen Hurts, to get the W. It's going to be a close game. It might be a last drive type of game to decide who wins this game. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, let's move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Atlanta Falcons. Man, the Pittsburgh Steelers and that quarterback situation is not very good at all whatsoever. I think Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are both cheeks. Straight booty cheeks. They are trash, man. They're not very good at all whatsoever. I feel bad for Pickens because he's a very talented guy, but he doesn't have anyone that can throw him the ball. They both hold on to the ball too long. They're going to take unnecessary sacks, and that's going to lead to this defense having to be on the field a lot in each and every game, and I think that's going to be the same thing that happens in week 1 versus the Atlanta Falcons. I think the first half is going to be very close. It's going to be like a 13-10, 10-7 going into the second half. And then I look for the Atlanta Falcons to make some adjustments and this Pittsburgh Steelers defense to get tired, and the Falcons are going to come away with the victory. The Falcons are extremely healthy too. They brought in some veteran guys like Justin Simmons and Matthew Judon at the linebacker position to kind of round out a defense led by Grady Jarrett. And then the offense is, one of the better units. They have a very unheralded offensive line. I think they're a top 10 unit led by Jake Matthews, who I always thought was a really, really good player. Kirk Cousins, Bijan Robinson, Drake London. I think Darnell Mooney is an underrated player who could have a potential big season as well. And you got to love Kyle Pitts. He was great in college. It hasn't really translated to great production in the NFL yet, but I look for that to change. Real quick, I just want to take a look at the Pittsburgh Steelers depth chart and see who's hurt, who's healthy. They look pretty healthy too for the most part. I don't like Troy Fontana being questionable. Roman Wilson was a big loss. I thought he's going to be a really, really good player. But man, it's really, really sad. He got banged up early in camp. I don't know if we're going to see him much this year. But Najee Harris, look for him to get a big workload. And this wide receiver room, Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin III, Quez Watkins, not the best unit, guys. Freiermuth is a very good player. We'll see how Russell Wilson can use him. I look for Russell Wilson to be the starter week 1. But this team lives and dies by this defense, and this defense staying healthy. One of their draft picks this year, Peyton Wilson, is questionable, but they brought in Patrick Queen from the Ravens. Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Larry Ogunjobi's a great D lineman too. Alex Highsmith. This defense is very, very talented. Joey Porter Jr., Beanie Bishop, Micah Fitzpatrick. I mean, this defense is top notch, right? So in order for the Steelers to keep that streak up of not playing under 500, they got to stay healthy. I'm going with the Falcons to win this game. Let's move on to the Arizona Cardinals on the road taking on the Buffalo Bills. The Arizona Cardinals look extremely healthy. Zay Jones is suspended, which sucks for them, but they look pretty healthy for the most part, man. The offense is led by Kyler Murray, James Conner, Marvin Harrison Jr. It's going to be interesting to see who steps up in this offense at the wide receiver position. Is it going to be Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch? We'll have to see who kind of steps up at the number 2 role. I love Trey McBride. He's really good. For the Arizona Cardinals to be successful this year, Paris Johnson and right tackle Jonah Williams have to play better than they did last year. Paris Johnson started playing better in the second half. Hopefully he takes a leap forward in year 2. Unfortunately for the Arizona Cardinals, their defense is not very good. They don't have anyone on this defense that I'm like, this guy is an absolute superstar. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to have their way with this Arizona Cardinals defense, right? On the flip side of the ball, the Buffalo Bills are a little banged up at the wide receiver position. Curtis Samuel's dealing with that turf toe issue, and Marcus Valdez-Scantling, he's not very good anyway, but he's questionable for a week 1. There is a good possibility that neither of these guys play week 1. Fantasy Khalil Shakir is the guy. But they got two great tight ends in Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. Offensive line looks pretty healthy. Defensively, they're pretty banged up, guys, especially at the safety position. Look at all these guys questionable on IR. One of their early picks, Cole Bishop, is questionable. DeMar Hamlin's questionable. He's not very good either at the safety position. So they're going to struggle in the back of this defense at the safety position. Their linebackers are not very good either. They lost one of their best players, Matt Milano, for the year. So at the linebacker position, at the safety position, I have my concerns for the Buffalo Bills. But I think the Bills are going to be able to move the ball, run the ball with James Cook, being a lot of 12 personnel with those two tight ends. I think they win this game. The line, however, is coming down. It was at +7 for Arizona. Now it's at +5.5. So there's some juice coming in on Arizona. This offense should be pretty good for the Cardinals, but the defense is still super cheeks. I think the Buffalo Bills squeak one out, but if Arizona won this game, I would not be surprised. If they were playing in Arizona, I would like them a lot more, but playing in Buffalo is hard. Those Bills fans are absolutely nuts. I love the Buffalo Bills fans. They are great. I'm going with the Bills to win this game. All right, let's move on to the Titans at the Chicago Bears. The Bears look pretty good offensively. They're all pretty healthy. They have some, minor questionable injuries on the defense, but the Bears look really healthy. That offense, Caleb Williams, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, oh my God. And then they got two good tight ends in Gerald Everett and Cole Kmet too. I mean, if this offensive line can be mediocre, this offense will be good, and they should win 7-8, maybe 9-8. I think that's the ceiling for this team. The defense is... Montez Sweat's pretty good, but the D-line is just okay. Like, their linebackers are, so-so too, TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds. Their secondary led by Jalen Johnson. He is elite, but the other guys, so-so. Kevin Byard was with the Eagles last year, and he looked lost and terrible. So I don't know about this secondary minus Jalen Johnson, how they're going to, do this year. But they look pretty healthy to me. They're taking on the Tennessee Titans. And the Titans have a brand new coaching staff on offense and defense. They brought in the Callahans to coach up this offense. Will Levis will be helming this offense. I don't know if DeAndre Hopkins is going to play. We got to keep our eye on that, because if DeAndre Hopkins doesn't play, I don't think the Titans have a chance to win this game with like Tyler Boyd and Calvin Ridley. They have a lot of questionable guys, like the depth pieces for the wide receiver room there. Rookie left tackle J.C. Latham looks like he's penciled in the start, so that's always questionable. I think the Bears win this game, guys. It is, I think, like a -4, 4.5 line right now. That's a big line for a rookie quarterback, but I just don't like this offensive line. They did bring in Lloyd Cushenberry from the Broncos to play center. That's going to be great. But, I think there's going to be some growing pains with this offensive line. But I do think their new offensive line coach will get them right eventually. The Titans did upgrade their defense a lot this offseason. L'Jarius Sneed is a huge get from the Chiefs. He's a really good player. Devondre Sweat in the draft is an absolute monster, guys. 6'4", 362 pounds. So they have a lot of new pieces on defense. It might take a little while for them to kind of work things out. I'm going with the Bears to win this game. Then we have the New England Patriots at the Cincinnati Bengals, right? I'm going with the Bengals all day. I don't even need to go through the depth chart and look at who's hurt, who's not hurt. I'll tell you one thing. There are some injuries to the D-line for the Bengals, but that doesn't matter because the Patriots' offense sucks. Jacoby Brissett hurt his shoulder in that last preseason game, so maybe they lean towards Drake May. And Drake May has some serious accuracy issues. And when you have wide receivers that aren't very good and you're not throwing extremely accurate balls and can put them in tight windows, you're going to struggle to move the football. The defense is good, but they're going to be on the field like 60 to 70% of the game. They're going to get tired. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are going to take over. I love the Bengals to win this game. Then we have the Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. So we take a look at the depth chart, Everybody looks pretty healthy. Will Anderson Jr. is questionable, but he's going to play. On the Colts side, let's see what's going on. We'll break this game down. Anthony Richardson is finally healthy. He's ready to play. They look pretty good offensively as well and defensively. Everybody's healthy, right? So who ultimately wins this game between the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts? I just find it hard to believe that the Texans are going to lose this game. CJ Stroud looks like an absolute machine. D'Amico Ryans has this defense playing at an elite level. They have really good players on both sides of the football. The offense, maybe the best skill position team in the NFL. Joe Mixon, CJ Stroud, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs. Oh my God. Good luck game planning for that offense. Good luck. I like Shane Steichen, the head coach of the Colts. He did great things in Philadelphia. He does a great job. He's going to get Anthony Richardson playing really well. He turned Gardner Minshew into a Pro Bowl quarterback. The guy knows how to work with quarterbacks and get the most out of them. They got Adonai Mitchell in the draft to pair up with Michael Pittman Jr. The Colts are going to be fine. They're 8-9, if everything goes right, 10-win team. They're just not better than the Houston Texans. I'm going with the Texans. Jaguars at the Miami Dolphins, guys. This is going to be a really close game. I originally just thought the Dolphins were kind of going to run away with this game with that high-power offense, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, those crazy good running backs. But I don't know, man. The Jaguars look pretty good. Brian Thomas Jr. looks like the truth. He's had a great preseason. Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne. They got some weapons. Evan Ingram's a top 5 tight end in the NFL right now. He was spectacular last year, guys. And the defense led by Josh Allen is pretty good. They don't have a great defense. I'm really worried about the cornerback position. Ronald Darby is getting old, guys. I mean, Tyson Campbell, I don't know. Not the greatest cornerbacks. Ronald Darby is going to get torched all day long, but no matter who he's guarding, is it Waddle, is it Hill, he's getting torched all day long. But the Miami Dolphins defense is not very good. They have a lot of guys that are still banged up from last year. I mean, their offensive line is banged up too. Left guard, Isaiah Wynn, out for week 1. Looks like Odell Beckham is out for week 1 as well. Tyreek Hill, questionable. Waddle, questionable. These guys are going to play, but they're dealing with nagging injuries. And look at the defense. IR, out. Questionable, out. Questionable. Oh my God, their defense is completely destroyed. The over is the bet in this game, guys. Unless the over's at 55, it probably still goes over that. I don't know about 55, but man, the over's the play in this game. I'm going with an upset. I'm going with the Jags. I'm flipping. I thought the Dolphins were going to win, but that defense is banged up. The offensive line is banged up. The Jags steal one on the road from the Dolphins. Carolina at New Orleans. This game's going to be fun to watch as well. Jonathan Brooks, the rookie running back, got put on the PUP list from Carolina. He's not playing week 1. He's out. But the rest of the offense looks pretty healthy. They're going to go with Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, and they're going to mix in Xavier Legette as well. The offensive line looks better than last year. Still not elite by any stretch of the imagination. The defense leaves a lot to be desired too. Rookie Ashawn Robinson's going to get a start there. Shaq Thompson. They got some guys questionable. DJ Wanham is out. They're going to give up some points. But luckily for them, the New Orleans Saints are not a great football team, in my opinion. They got some injuries on defense, too. A lot of guys questionable, banged up. Lattimore's questionable. Demario Davis, Pete Werner. We got to keep an eye on this as we get closer to week 1. Fuaga, the rookie, he's banged up. And they already lost Ramczyk for the year. They're starting right tackle. He's not even on the depth chart anymore. He's done for the year, guys. So, Justin Herndon, another guy on the offensive line, done for the year, IR. Raheed Shaheed, the number 2 wide receiver, questionable. Alvin Kamara's getting older. This game is probably going to be sloppy. It's going to be a sloppy game. The Saints are okay. Their defense is pretty decent, in my opinion. They got a good secondary. They're probably going to beat this young, inexperienced Panthers team at home. The Lions coming down on that game too. A little juice is coming in on the Panthers. But I'm going to go with the home team in week 1. I like the New Orleans Saints barely. But if the Panthers snuck away with the win, I wouldn't be too surprised. All right, let's move on to this Minnesota Vikings New York Giants game. Playing in Jersey. No J.J. McCarthy. Done for the year with that meniscus injury. Sam Darnold is the guy. Is Jordan Addison going to play? I don't know. They put T.J. Hawkinson on the PUP list today. He's going to miss the first 4 weeks. That's a huge loss for the Minnesota Vikings. We'll see. Can Sam Darnold be a starting quarterback in this league? We will have to see. They have a pretty decent offensive line. Their defense is not bad either. I think they're pretty good. I like Jonathan Grenard. I like Andrew Van Ginkel. That's a great addition coming over from the Dolphins. I like Stephen Gilmore. I think this defense will be just fine, especially against this booty cheeks, trash Giants team. I love Malik Neighbors. He was my favorite wide receiver in the draft, bar none. I loved him. But look, on this crap offensive line, John Runyon and Schmitz Jr. are both questionable already. The depth pieces, Evan Neal, Mayfield, both questionable. They brought in Elmanure. I like that signing. I like them bringing in John Runyon. They're going to have a better offensive line than last year, but they're still not very good. A lot of questionables, a lot of IR. I just think the Vikings are going to win this game. I mean, I like Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns. I think that defensive line is going to wreck some games this year, but their cornerbacks are cheeks. Their safeties, not very good. Letting Xavier McKinney walk to the Packers was the dumbest shit I ever seen in my life. The Giants organization is booty. I'm going with the Vikings. This next game, guys, is one of my favorite games of the week, even though it's teams that, maybe people aren't like, these guys won't be contenders. I think this game is going to be very competitive and fun to watch. But I like the Raiders to win this game. But if Devontae Adams and Brock Bowers both don't play, probably take the Chargers in this game. But Gardner Minshew was a Pro Bowler last year. I think he could work really well with Zamir White, Devontae Adams, and Brock Bowers. The offensive line is improved. Guys, I really like this D-line for the Raiders. Wilkins, Max Crosby and company, very, very good D-line. That's going to help out this, mediocre secondary at the cornerback and safety positions, right? I think they're a better team than the Chargers. I just don't think the Chargers are very good right now on offense, and they're mediocre on defense. Harbaugh wins games with offenses that can run the ball, that don't turn the ball over, just score enough points, with elite defenses, with great linebackers. Guess what? They don't have that team right now. They could have it 2, 3, 4 years from now, but right now they don't have it. Justin Herbert is back, but he's dealing with that plantar fascia bullshit on his foot. He hasn't really played with any of these guys at all in a game. Josh Palmer, Ladd McConkey, DJ Chark. Yikes. Not my favorite. Will Dissly's cooked. They do not have a very good offense. Offensive line is okay. Just okay. They got a rookie starting at right tackle. Joey Bosa is questionable, but for the most part, they look pretty healthy. Khalil Mack, I think his best days are over. Asante Samuel Jr., I do like him. I do like Derwin James, even though he regressed last year. I'm going with the Raiders, guys. Next up, we have the Broncos at the Seahawks. This game's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm really curious how Bo Nix is going to look with Sean Payton this year. He's a very accurate quarterback. He looked pretty good in the preseason, guys. Their wide receivers, besides Cortland Sutton, aren't very good. Josh Reynolds, he's okay. I think he should have a bounce-back year from last year. He was okay. He had some big-time drops that cost them some games. Denver Broncos offensive line is mid. Defense, mid. I like Patrick Surtain, though. But Broncos look pretty healthy. Seattle's dealing with some injuries. Tyler Lockett and Noah Fant are both questionable. Abraham Lucas, offensive right tackle, he's out. And this offensive line is already pretty cheeks and super suspect. It concerns me, right? They lost some linebacker help. Jerome Baker is also questionable. Cameron Young is out. Got some guys on IR out. The defense should be okay under new head coach Mike McDonald. The offensive line is going to be the lifeblood of this team because they have great skill position players. Kenneth Walker's great, DJ Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. They're super talented, but they can't block for shit. But I think they can beat a rookie quarterback at home. I'm going with the Seahawks, but I think this game's going to be a little more competitive than people think. Let's move on to the Dallas Cowboys, who finally got the deal done with CeeDee Lamb. Like, what's all this posturing for? I think Jerry Jones is such a smacked ass. Like, you waste all of training camp with CeeDee Lamb when you were going to do this deal anyway. Everyone's saying he's going to get around $33, $34 million. Just get the deal done. What are you doing? Why are you going to piss people off and annoy people? It's just, Jerry Jones I hate Jerry Jones. All right, Brandon Cooks is a little bit questionable. Tyler Guyton's questionable. Adoga, questionable. On a very questionable offensive line. They got a bunch of rookies starting. Cooper Beebe's probably going to start. Tyler Guyton's probably going to start. The defense, Muhammad got suspended. They lost some defensive linemen early in the offseason. Deron Bland is out 4 to 6 weeks with an injury. Eric Kendricks, Damon Clark, both questionable. Overshown, questionable. A lot of questionable guys on defense, right? Losing Deron Bland is a huge loss that not a lot of people are talking about. I think I'm leaning towards the Cleveland Browns winning this game. I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think it's going to be a close game. Nick Chubb on the PUP list, done for 4 weeks. David Njoku, he's questionable as well. But everyone else looks pretty healthy. I like this wide receiver core. Cooper, Judy, Moore. I do like it. It looks like Jerome Ford is going to be the number one guy. I think he could have a big fantasy day, guys, if you're into daily fantasy. This defensive line, Myles Garrett, Dalvin Tomlinson, along with Harrison Smith. Good luck blocking them, Cowboys. Good luck. I do love Grant Delpit and Denzel Ward. Very, very good cornerbacks and safeties. I think I'm going with the Cleveland Browns, guys. It's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be like a 17-14, 21-20, 23-20 type of game. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a close game. Can Myles Garrett and company destroy this young offensive line? I think they can. That's going to be the difference in this game. Washington at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's juice coming in on the Commanders, guys, and I just don't get it. I like Jaden Daniels. If you watched my videos this offseason, I thought he was probably the best quarterback in this draft. I even liked him more than Caleb Williams. I really did. But, man, this Washington Commanders defense sucks. They suck. They're terrible. Zach Ertz is old. They just traded their number 2 wide receiver. Zacchaeus was with the Eagles last year, and he was horrible. Rookie Luke McCaffrey in the slot now. I mean, Crowder hasn't been good for a really long time. He's getting older. I mean, I think Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler both had big games catching the ball out of the backfield. I think Jaden Daniels is going to kind of run that read option a lot. He's probably going to have over 50, 60 yards on the ground. He's definitely an option on fantasy. I like Nick Allegretti. I like that addition, but he was kind of banged up last year as well. I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this game. Todd Bowles going up against a rookie quarterback, a new head coach who's defensive-minded, whose defense sucks. Baker Mayfield and company, pretty much the whole team's coming back. Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, they added Bucky Irving, who I really like in the draft process. Offensive line, Tristan Wirfs is one of the best left tackles in football. The defense is a little banged up, but they're going to be able to take care of business against Washington. I'm going with the Buccaneers. Rams at the Lions. Matt Stafford's dealing with some injuries. So is Puka Nacua. I like the additions the Lions made on the offensive line and the secondary, drafting a guy like Terry and Arnold from Alabama. I think the Lions get it done in week 1. Then we got the Jets at the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are dealing with some injury stuff too. Holdouts. Trent Williams wants more money. Brandon Ayuk wants more money. Christian McCaffrey is banged up. I'm going with the upset. The Jets defense is going to hold this offense to under 20 points, and they're going to win this game like 24-20, 24-17, 23-17, something like that. The Jets stun the NFL on Monday night. Get the road victory in prime time. If you made it to the end of this video, you are a true football degenerate just like myself. I really appreciate you guys. You guys have shown me so much support since I started transitioning to football less than a year ago. It means so much to me. We added almost 1,100 new subscribers this month alone in August. We're over 6,000 subscribers. It means the world to me, guys. Thank you so much. And the more this community grows, the more NFL stuff I can bring you. I'm going to start a new members thing in the next couple weeks where I'm going to do like private, kind of like betting coaching, where you get my private email address and you can ask me up to 5 questions per week with my premium package. And then I have a small package and a medium package where I do members only live streams Sunday after the games where we can talk about the games together as a community. Members only shorts. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.